Do you think, talking about parties, because what we've seen now, the new trend is that people want to hire those grounds to hold their parties, their wedding receptions?
No. If of course these are the rich people. If they have the, I mean, they want to hire such places and all that. Of course, you must pay fees because the place has to be maintained. But I'm talking of a family man that wants to go and probably have a sanity with his family.
You think that those kind of people will be charged as well?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Individuals, people and all that is there. Then you have to pay in order to use that and all that. So they have to, probably the commissioner will be here to explain all that, because I want to go and stay in a park and with my family on a weekend. Am I supposed to pay for it? Because the law says that particular agency that is established under the law must begin to prescribe fees for usage. Individuals, corporate bodies, and persons.
So if they charge me to use that park,
yes,
and I use it and go away, they come in and clean up, or
yeah, they, of course, the law empowers the agency to do the maintenance, taking care of cleaning up that environment and making sure that the flowers are also being trimmed and being maintained. It's an agency that a lot of more duties are even imposed upon that agency. Issue of even environmental studies in secondary schools and primary schools imposes upon them, so that we begin to evolve a culture of appreciating the environment. It's not only when you are old, even from they catch them young when they are, and begin to teach them to appreciate the environment so that we can save nature for our future children.
How do you think this clause for the landlords will work? Because they say occupiers or landlords, because there are places where the landlords don't stay there. Yeah. So if you occupy that area, you have to take that responsibility upon you. But you know that there's some crazy landlords who wouldn't have you do that. So what do you do in that case?
No. Well, the law didn't say that they will lock up the place, because like tenement rate, if you don't pay tenement rate, the law says they will come and lock up the place. And most times when they lock up the place, the landlord is not there. It is the tenant that will be affected. So invariably, the tenants will be forced to most times pay the tenement rate. But in this one, it is your penalty. You're going to pay such amount of money on the owner, or you go 6 months imprisonment, or the government will do what it's supposed to do and charge whosoever owns that property. Now, so if somebody owns a house today and is in London, he's not here, and then tenants are occupying the place, and then you are imposed to plant flower, I think the tenants themselves, that will have to get in touch with the landlord and say, look, there is a law. If you don't plant this flower, the law will be against you, not against us, because they will not lock up this place. So it's either you go to jail or you pay the amount of money the government will spend in planting the flower. So I think the tenants will be very glad not to get involved in planting the flowers.
Yeah, but what do you imagine will happen? I mean, one would have thought that this will also be an opportunity for people to try their hands at gardening,
No, very good.
Who's the people imagine that you'll have to get someone who's going to landscape for you? And
I agree with you. See, people ordinarily will resist this law. But over time, you find out that people begin to, be amused by the law, and then even begin to take interest in planting flowers. And then in the morning, you see some people trimming the flowers and all that. It may evolve a culture of decency. I don't have any problem with it. But as I said earlier, government also must bear some responsibilities, so that you can make these laws people to accept them. Why would Nigerians are the easiest people to govern? I'm just telling you.
What kind of responsibility are you talking about?
Yes, issue of roads. The roads also, in addition to asking people to plant the flower, to complete the aesthetic value of that environment, tar the roads, street lights, erect it, and then the man now plants the flower. Oh, when you come into such an environment, who will not like it?
That's excluding federal roads.
It's cool. Of course, no, I'm talking about state road. It's only state road that I'm talking about.
It is interesting. The Ministry of Environment might tell you that they have done their part. That what they have done all over Lagos is there for all to see. And in terms of how they've planted flowers.
Okay.
In terms of how they've tried to maintain their own parks. And they're trying to get people to jump on that. So how do you think you're going to be reconciling it amongst ministries?
I give them kudos, because of course you and I, 5 years ago in Lagos, how dirty Lagos and all that. But under the bridges now, you see gardens and recreational centers springing up. I mean, when you drive in the night, you begin to appreciate these things. Let's also be fair, to government, appreciating what they are doing. But we also encourage them to do more. Now, Lagos does not end on the major roads. It doesn't end there. There are hinterlands. People are living in inner recesses of Lagos. So if you begin to beautify the main environment, and somebody comes in as a foreigner and sees Lagos, Lagos is so beautiful. There are other areas that, if you go in, you say, is it Lagos? You ask yourself, because my own estate where I live in, over 7 years I've been crying on the state of the road. Now I will not offend the law because
do they pay tax?
I pay tax. Every year. No, because of what? No, I'm telling you.
I mean the other.
No, we all cooperate with government. In fact, I have a client that every year he pays tax in Lagos. He said, please go and pay because I am seeing physical thing this man is doing in Lagos. Without even nobody compels him to do that every year. And I personally also I pay my tax. And the roads are so bad. I planted flowers. You know, you guys know I love flowers and all that. So I will not even be I will not be caught up with that law. But what of those who do not have the money? Because you not only planting flower, you must landscape. The law says landscaping and of course, landscaping is not meant for a poor man. Yeah, landscaping is meant, you know, you put it in a very decent before planting the flowers. Landscaping. It's not. They're not all the same. That's what I'm saying. That you are going to create more jobs for the boys who are owners of this thing, but you have not made arrangement with them in order to simplify these things for the people so that they can acquire these flowers at a cheaper price. So landscaping also can. So there must be a scheme. That is my suggestion. In amending this law, I mean, they must, put up a scheme that people like Dangotes of this world who have money, the customers can also put money into that scheme. Somebody like Ubani can also contribute his little quota, maybe 5,000 naira into the scheme, so that those who do not have the money can have access to the flower and landscaping at no cost. At no cost.
How do you get?
But don't you think they should pay something?
Oh, willingly. The issue of security fund. How do you get them to contribute? They know that security is important. These guys appreciate nature. They go to abroad. They see what goes on in the same society. So they want a replica, something to be replicated in their own country. So they wouldn't mind willingly supporting the poor people to have flowers planted, landscaping in their homes. I say, I as a person will willingly contribute my own little quota into that scheme to ensure that people can love flowers, my sister. And I know you love flowers also. So nobody who will not in any way love.
But don't you think that people should pay something, however little? You can talk about subsidy because some people say that when you get something free, you don't tend to value it.
That is not true. It depends on what you are getting free. It's not true that you don't value things that are free. If I'm getting something that is valuable free, I will be very grateful to the government. I say, you go abroad, you see parks and recreational centers being occupied by citizens. You think they don't appreciate the government? Why did they wake up in the morning and say, God bless America, God bless
Why do you think that people will have to make a law telling people not to walk on lawns, not to pee there, not to
because we are prone to disobedience to laws. You know, we have lost sometimes our sense of decency. You know, see it openly. People defecate, people urinate openly. People, they will see a walkway, they will prefer to walk on grasses.
Even in clean places.
Because as I said earlier, it has to do with psych. We've been traumatized in this nation. We've been psychologically traumatized. So most times, even things that are decent are no longer decent to us. So you must also begin to enact laws in order to correct people's behavior. I'm telling you. So in making that law, I don't have any problem. But I'm saying there are rooms for amendment. Amend this issue of penal clause for failure to plant flower.
Okay.
Put up the rules. Give us street light. Okwebi and Allen Road, no street light. No street light for many years now. And I think Governor Fashola is listening now. Please go and do something concerning Okwebi and Allen and make it beautiful. In the night when you are driving, it's a beauty to behold when you are driving and you have street light.
All right then, that's all we have to let it go. Onyekachi Ubani, Chairman, Ikeja branch of MBA. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you, Chamberlain.
Even though if Uriah drops this and says, well, if it's kept as clean as allows an MM2, nobody would defecate there. But
and that's true.
Well,